Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Bill Crane Report. As always, my friend Dwayne Weiss is here by my side.
Good morning.
And we're going to bring you the good news, the bad news, and the ridiculous news.
And the in-between news. Or the no news.
I'll tell you, folks, I'm going to start off with something serious, though. The events in Hong Kong, I think, bear some talking about.
I think it's a powder keg. That's my own opinion. I don't know.
Lay it on me.
Well, China's not going to stand for this too much longer. I think they're poking the tiger here. And they're going to show it. They've already got staged all these armored vehicles and all the trucks and everything right on the border. And you're dealing with a different mentality when you deal with China. And they're going to do something.
You know, to this point, I probably agree with you. But they would, I think, cut off their nose to spite their face.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about that.
They will pay a terrible, terrible price.
Yeah.
Because the world is against them.
Yeah.
If they were to do anything to the demonstrators, who heretofore have been peaceful.
Yeah, relatively. Yeah, they were. You got to call it peaceful.
And
they don't want another Tiananmen Square.
That's exactly right. But
I know
if they didn't react to those 4 young men carrying the American flag and singing the Star-Spangled Banner, I'm not sure they're going to react, Dwayne, unless they have this. All right, let's back up, folks. Let's have some history here. I'm talking as though you folks at home all understand this, and maybe we could help a little bit. Hong Kong was a British protectorate.
Correct. Actually, a possession at one point.
Yeah, and it is basically the financial center of that part of the world. Mm-hmm. And the Brits set it up as a democracy, and it functioned wonderfully. There's 3 million people there in Hong Kong. Well, the Chinese communists, mainland China, wanted that Hong Kong be returned to China as the final act, I guess, that and Taiwan.
Yep.
Be returned to China because it is Chinese. And the people basically are saying, yeah, we are Chinese ethnicity, but we are British in our outlook. I will say this. If you gave the right to vote in a plebiscite to the folks that live in Hong Kong, the 3 million, overwhelmingly they'd ask to return to the British Empire.
Yeah, but that's all they knew. Everybody there was born as a British subject.
Right.
There are no people that can remember when it was part of China.
That's right. So what happened in 1997 was the pressure became intense from China that this has got to stop. And rightly or wrongly, we agreed, and the Brits agreed. And
but there were some terms.
Yes.
Some very, very specific terms.
Very specific terms that it was going to be one China, 2 forms of life, 2 forms of government.
And the biggest one was that China would keep their paws off this place for 50 years.
Totally off.
Totally, not even,
Yep.
no influence whatsoever. That lasted 1 year. Hell, it lasted months,
Yep.
and China got in there already.
And now China is trying it through their puppet, I guess, Lam. She has proposed that criminals can be sent to mainland China, to the courts there, and punished there for their transgressions. In other words, tortured or killed over there.
But don't forget, criminals includes you don't agree with the state line in China.
Exactly.
So
You're stepping over the line. You're saying, no, we don't want Chinese encroachment on Hong Kong. Well, the students, the young people, are demonstrating over there. They had over 1 million people in the streets.
phenomenal
last weekend.
crowds.
Yeah, and peaceful. And peaceful. And the sight of all those umbrellas
Yep.
in the rain, these people are standing up for their rights. And the mainland China has amassed troops and equipment 20 miles away, perhaps.
Maybe a mile, right?
Yeah,
Right across the- 20 is a
But plenty, they're staging it.
Right there.
And basically, it's a threat that, if you people don't stop this, we're moving in. They haven't said that,
No,
but
but
that's implied.
The implication is very strong. The reason I think that they would probably take a strong line is I'm sure they're afraid if that goes, what's going to happen in Beijing, what's going to happen in Singapore, what's going to happen in the other major cities on mainland China.
If somehow or other you could isolate Hong Kong, I don't think they'd have a problem.
No, they wouldn't.
But if this works, there's going to be demonstrations.
Yep, because China now has a big middle class.
That's right.
Then they don't care diddly poop about the Communist Party. They want jobs, they want houses, they want cars, TVs, and refrigerators, etc. And you start taking that away from them, which they're going to be in trouble.
Now, interesting, one of the spins by one of the talking heads on TV, there's a couple, 3 of them that are very, very good, said that people in mainland China, there is a thought among people in mainland China that supports the government position because they say the young students are hurting the Hong Kong economy badly, and they have no sympathy for the rioters. Well, they call them rioters, but they're rich, they've got everything, they have all the comforts of home, they are living high on the hog, while mainland China is, a true communist organization, or it's laid out so that all people are created equally and are treated equally and live in a Spartan existence. But the middle class is doing better in mainland China.
Much better.
And they are going to be a force to be reckoned with. And what the Chinese government's afraid of is if they ever become
They could topple them.
mobilized. Yeah,
They could topple the government.
yeah. Well, it would be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
Oh, yeah, it would.
And you know what? I don't think the Chinese will move in militarily on Hong Kong. I think they're going to try to play this out
Posture.
until, the cold weather comes, or
Probably.
because it never gets that cold over there. But until the activists lose interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My son's in-laws, he's married to a Chinese lady, and they are now in China. There's a group of about 6 or 8 I think there's 8 of them, of her aunts and uncles and her parents. And I saw them a few weeks ago, and they said that they go back and forth quite a bit. Never have they seen so much security as this trip. They are required that they were told that they're going to have to give up their cell phones when they get there. The government's going to take them. They're going to analyze the cell phone, what's in it. If they don't like what's in it, you got to agree that they're going to erase it. Take everything out of your cell phone that they don't want you to bring into the country. Now, they've never had that before.
Wow.
So they're being very, very cautious. They said they were getting the 10th degree because they're U.S. citizens.
Did they bring their cell phones with
Oh
them?
yeah, they bring them wherever
They did?
go. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what
When
they're like when they get
I
them
shouldn't
back.
say they brought a cell phone.
Okay.
They weren't going to let them have everything.
A
They
cleaned up cell phone?
a burner, they call it.
Burner. Yeah, burner. Yeah.
A cheap one. You want it, keep it. I don't care.
Wow. You know, that's amazing. I've never heard that before. That's amazing. Of course, over there, I mean, it's a way of life that's totally foreign to us.
Yep.
I mean, over there, the government controls
Everything.
everybody,
Yep. Oh, yeah.
every bloody thing. Well,
On a lighter note,
yeah.
we just came back from a trip to the Midwest, and I had the stupid day. You ever had a day where you just do stupid stuff?
More than one day.
Well,
yeah.
this one was outstanding. Among all the little things, we're in Minneapolis at the airport. She says, "I want a cup of coffee." I said, "I would too." She said, "Well, there was a McDonald's down the hall a little bit." She said, "I'm going to get some coffee." I said, "Yeah, give me a large coffee with cream and sugar in it." All right, so we sat there. I don't like things real hot or real cold, so I'm just letting it set and set and set. A great big one like that. So we get down. They call the flight. We get on the plane. Now I think it's cooled off now. So I don't know when that cap came loose. You know them little tabs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I go to take a drink of coffee. That damn cap ain't on. I spill coffee from here, this wide, all the way down. I dumped half that thing on me.
And I'm going to make a prediction that it hadn't cooled down that much
It had
either.
some, but not enough that I didn't say, wow.
Wow.
Not only that, I have got a light blue, baby blue mist shirt on. Now I got coffee, not a little dripping. I mean, I am like I'm wearing a bib, drenched in coffee. I thought, oh, God, what else? So I take my handkerchief, the flight attendant gives me some paper napkins. I go, this is a mess. So I figure, what else can go wrong? So we get back. Well, first of all, we get to the airport. There are 4 mechanical walkways in the Terminal A in the bottom where you got to go from one terminal to the further terminal.
This is at Logan Airport.
Yeah, Logan. Of course, all 4 are broke. You think, well, what the hell, you know? So I figure we get back 8 days later, they're still broke. What do they do there?
Rest a lot.
They must rest a lot. But anyway, we get back. Again, we got to troop through the airport. We get back. We get home. This is one of my dumber ones. On top of the coffee, it's all the same day. It's about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. I don't want to cook. I don't want to think. Let's run up to Red Wing and get a pizza. Just okay. So I take my glasses, and I've got a lot of these are readers. I got one good pair. I paid $35 for them. The rest of them are BJ's $3.95 jobs. And I had it hooked on my shirt. I said, well, I'm going to hold them, put them up. I put them up on the roof. And I was getting something out of the back seat because when I bend over, sometimes they fall out of my pocket. Didn't think anything. Pull out of the driveway. I hear this. I don't take them off the roof. Now they're laying on 115 someplace. I thought, God, what else can go wrong today? And both of them were just stupid acts, you know.
You know, my wife has often thought that she's going to hire a keeper for me.
Yeah, that's
Follow
what she
me
said,
around, keep me out of trouble.
This is like traveling with a 6-year-old, she said.
But you know, ever since I've been working in the morning, back in the old days of the China cup, I would have a cup of coffee and bring it out to the car for the ride to work, the 15-minute ride to the Foxborough Company, and I would drink the coffee. Never spill. Oh, a couple of times I got drops on me, but I got so that I could really hang on to that
Oh
baby.
yeah.
Now, I've done it, I don't know how many times. So one morning, the door was frozen. Put the coffee cup up on the roof. You can see where this is going.
Oh yeah.
Yanked the door, got in, started it up, turned on the defroster and the heater, sat there, listened to the radio. I could see, put the windshield wipers on, put it in reverse, and drove backwards.
Yep.
Coffee all over the windshield and down onto the hood.
Yep.
It was great. So I have really been very careful for the last 50 years about that sort of thing. But not too long ago, I did it again, Dwayne.
Oh, I'm going to do it again. I know that.
Honest to Pete. Well, folks, this is going to be one of the great disjointed shows of all times because I put together a pile of all the dribs and drabs that we need to talk about or haven't been able to talk about. So this morning's paper had this nugget of information. Franklin Pierce College or University, I don't know which one applies, has a poll, and it says 44% of New Hampshire Democrats don't know more than 2 of the presidential contenders. 29 Democratic would-bes, and 44% only know two of them.
Okay. I years ago I would have said no, it's impossible. But the older we get, and the more things we see,
Yeah.
it's very feasible.
I think also, quite frankly, I think there's a disgust with politics and politicians, especially among the young.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They just don't care. They don't give a
don't
rat's
care at
patoot
all about it.
anymore.
Nope.
And as a result, not too many people are paying attention. Plus, it's so early.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a year and 2 months away from an election. I mean, come on, give me a break. This is, to have nothing but politics on TV at this point in time is madness.
Yeah. And you got what 20? We're down to 23 now, I think.
Yeah, a couple. But then somebody joined the pack.
Oh, that's right. They
Yep.
did.
So who knows? But they're, it's like watching the Red Sox. Well, there's a couple of 3 guys that can hit, and 22 of them are just journeyman nobodies. That's no fun watching a team like that.
No, the next debate will be cut down. I think.
Yes, it will.
You have to have so many points in the polls or something to continue.
Yeah. However, they keep lowering the bar.
Of
so
course.
That, we're going to get everybody in.
The bar is pretty low on that group to start with.
It is. By the way, Dwayne, I was thinking, just being retired is no good. You and I should go back in business. So I was thinking of opening a cell phone store in Brockton.
Oh, no.
No?
No, not after that Looney Tune went with a hatchet.
Oh, well, you know what happened yesterday, folks? Fellow bought a cell phone, brought it back to the store and said it didn't work. And the owner of the store said, well, I assume this is a used phone, a reconditioned phone.
Probably.
Look at your warranty. I warranty it until you walk out the door. You bought it with that understanding. So the guy has a hatchet with him and smashes the credit card processor. And then he starts smashing other things in the store. So a cop happened along. And the guy's yelling and screaming. And he says to the policeman, shoot me, kill me, and all that. So then what eventually happens is he starts walking at the policeman with the hatchet. Well, another policeman is there by this time, and one of them the guy's getting too close. So they shoot him, and the other guy tases him.
Yep.
He still continues to walk at them.
Yeah.
So they had to shoot him a second time. He's in the hospital having surgery. So maybe this idea of you and I opening up a cell phone store ain't going to happen.
That ain't gonna happen. Not
All right. Well, then we'll just think of something else to do.
If you've not been to downtown Brockton, it may have changed a little or some, but for a while we used to live in Brockton. We moved here from there, and for a long time we wouldn't drive through there. We wouldn't even drive through it. Yeah. We used to like to go to, I think it was Christo's on the other side of town.
Yeah.
But it meant from here driving through downtown Brockton, we wouldn't do it.
Do you know that this is really quite, if you ever stop and think about, now you folks in Norfolk don't even know what we're talking about, a lot of you. But it's amazing, as you travel around the country, how many times you're told, oh, listen, well, it happened in Richmond, Virginia, to me. The guy I was with said, now when we were going to split up after we did our work there, he said, don't go into downtown. Mm-hmm. He said, it is not worth your life. He said, we could sit right here, and as soon as it gets dark, hear gunshots.
Yep.
This happens in Brockton. Yeah. It's a perfect example. Here it is, 30 miles, well, 28 miles from us, and there is certain areas where it's a war zone. Now, I met a fellow that was a fireman on the Boston Police Department, Boston Fire Department, and he lived in Mansfield. And he said to me, you know, he said, the cops have it better than we do in Boston. There are streets. The cops will not go down.
Oh, absolutely.
But he said, when there's a fire, we don't have any choice. We have to go in.
Yep.
And he said, it's scary. He said, I moved out to Mansfield to raise my family and to get away from the crazy fill in the blank word. And he was a black guy.
Yep. Well, in all fairness, I think Brockton's getting a little better from what the reports of people we know that still live there. Only because I think Brockton's going to become a point of destination for Bostonians.
They are going to rehab the housing in there, just like they did in the South End, and are encroaching into Roxbury on now.
Same thing there.
Yeah.
Yep. The two things happened in Brockton. One, they got a new train station. Now you can take the train back and forth. And number two, the housing prices in the Boston metro market are so high. They look at what they can buy in Brockton, for example, and they say, Mom, we can buy a house there. You got more and more people from that coming into the housing market, particularly young professional people. To get a house, they have to move someplace like Brockton. And more people and professionals you get in there, the less is going to dilute that criminal element that's in there.
Do you know that one of the best things that Massachusetts, and believe me, there hasn't been many great things, but one of them is extending the train line out to Worcester. Worcester is going to boom at some point in time for the same reason.
Yeah, well, you can't. A community cannot survive when your houses start at $500,000, $550,000.
Exactly.
Because the young people, the new people coming in the market can't afford it.
That's right. Yep, absolutely right. Now, so let me ask you the $64,000 question.
Do I get to keep it if I answer right?
Yep.
Okay.
The poor people that are living in a two-family that has been illegally made into a four-family. 4 families in there. A guy comes in and says, out!
Yep.
I'm rehabbing the house. Where do they go?
Today, that's an unsurmountable problem right now, because we are not looking to provide affordable housing. Everything that's going in is high end, it seems to be,
For a profit.
for a profit. I don't know, Bill. Honest to God, I got to give up the $64,000 question because I don't have the answer for that. That's phase of gentrification.
Did you see Fox News yesterday when they were showing the tents on the sidewalks out in California?
Yeah, I've seen that, along with Seattle and Portland also.
Yeah. And they interviewed a woman who did not appear on camera. They're afraid. She said, when we come in the morning, we have to fight our way through the tents and everything to open a door of our store.
Yep.
Then I have to go out on the sidewalks and physically move them. I have to clean up all their toilet activity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. San Francisco got that problem
Yep.
too.
And they, what is going to become of our businesses here on this block? Well, we're going to go out of business.
That's what'll happen.
Look, you're not, well, I hate to put words in your mouth, but let me just say this. I'm not going to go to a store where I have to fight my way through
No,
homeless
I'm not either.
who, in God love them, but many of them have mental problems. Many of them are alcoholics.
Drug addicts.
Many of them are drug addicts, and many of them are all three.
Yeah.
Now, how, as the shining star of the world, can we allow this to happen? You mean to tell me if we can send people to the moon and bring them back, we can't figure out what to do with the people that are homeless?
Oh, it's not insurmountable. It can be done. You just have to have the will to do it.
And you have to be willing to pay for it.
Yep.
Well, you know, I worry about Norfolk. You and I both are active with the seniors.
Yep.
There are seniors that are hanging on to their homes
That's right.
just by the. I know how much money they have. They tell me. I don't know how I'm going to pay my taxes this year. God bless my two sons.
Oh yeah. That's that. People here that some of the people that the upper middle class. We've got a middle class and we've got an upper class. We've got a lot of disproportionate. I don't mean that as derogatory. We got a disproportionate number of people that are upper middle,
Yes, we do.
upper mobile, upper middle.
Because we have built huge homes.
That's
Why
right. You
did we
could
do that?
go through these
because
divisions.
the profit margin is much larger.
and look at the homes and look at all the cars they're driving and stuff. They got an idea. This is what the idea that Norfolk is. I've more than one gone someplace to have my oil changed or something. The address, oh, pricey little town, nice, but oh my God, it's so expensive. There's so much money there. I'm thinking, it ain't me.
Well, Norfolk decided they wanted to become the second coming of Wellesley.
That's
or
right,
Weston
exactly. There
or
was that
something
snoot,
like that.
that snoot factor for a while.
Well, you know why? Because the town fathers
Oh yeah,
felt the bigger the house,
yeah.
the more tax money we can get out of them. Oh, but if we put in some inexpensive housing, subsidized housing for the elderly, we wouldn't get much
Yeah,
out
you're not
of
gonna get much out of that.
No.
And-
So as a result, the elderly either live poor as church mice.
They do. They're
Or they move.
yeah, and the ones that stay are sort of the pushed off into the shadows.
Absolutely.
Nobody knows about them. They don't. Of course, they don't speak up either.
Yeah, I know
But
it.
they're here.
They're
not-
proud.
yeah, they're proud people, and you're right. There's a lot of elderly in this town. But for years, Norfolk was known as the town that never turned down a 2.5 proposition override. There wasn't a proposition 2.5 they didn't like. They just automatically vote for it. Oh yeah, I'll vote for
exactly.
it. I'll vote
Sure.
for it because these people had a lot of money, relatively so, that are voting for it. Another $400 or $500 a year in my tax bill, $600, $300. That's no big deal. You know, my bar tab last month was bigger than that.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
It just didn't matter. And meanwhile, you got the seniors on a fixed income here. They're getting nickeled and dimed to death. And now that stupid thing with the police department and the police station and the fire station, they're going to try to nickel dime them some more.
Now, perhaps it's time we became aware of what's going on in town.
Yep.
And spoke out a little bit more vociferously about it, because we are hurting a class of people that we should love and cherish them for what they are, our parents and grandparents who raised us and loved us and took care of us. And now we shunt them off.
These people do not owe your kids, other than a basic education. They don't owe them the best of the best in these school systems. They don't owe them the best programs that you can come into the country. That's not their. They are barely hanging on. They've educated their kids. They've done their duty. You don't believe it? This will never ever pass in Massachusetts, but there are states and different have like Godfather rules. When they pass a tax increase, anybody over 65 it doesn't apply to them.
We've got to really and truly look at that.
You want a 2.5? You take care of it. The seniors are not going to pay for it.
That's right. You know, it's demoralizing. I've had the elderly come to me and tell, Bill, I used to be able to get a 6% CD
Oh yeah.
on my little nest egg.
Yeah.
Now, I can't even get a CD. Now, 1%.
Yep.
Well, the CDs now are a little bit higher, but
go
they're going to go
to-
lower very quickly.
They're going to drop again because
Yeah.
of
the way the interest rates are headed down. So there's no place for the seniors to put their little nest egg
no.
and earn some interest.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at a 5-year certificate of deposit, 2.3%.
Yeah.
Give me a break. You're going to tie up your money for 5 years?
65 years ago, I had $100 in the bank the first time.
Yep.
And I got 5.5%, 6% on that. That was 65 years ago.
In the rate around 79 and 80, I bought CDs, 16%.
I got 15. Now you beat me on that. That was the only time the bank was paying me more on my CDs than my house payment, interest, and taxes were put together.
You know, well, we probably shouldn't be talking personal finance here. Someone's going to say, you guys aren't qualified to do this or something. But
We can see, we've seen the poor side here.
yeah, you know, I have refinanced my house 3 times. Interest goes down,
Yeah.
I refinance.
I did that too.
And I take the equity out. That is the difference. And so that I maintain the same monthly payment. So if it's $28,000, $46,000, whatever, I take it out and I put it in the stock market. Well, I've been successful. I still have a mortgage, but it's, I think my current one's 3.3% that was redone a few years ago. But it's worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know there's not an awful lot of people that would be willing to do that. Would be too cautious. But It's worked well for me anyway. By the by, and there's no reason why we can't have more affordable housing in Norfolk for the elderly.
No, there's no reason at all.
No reason,
Well,
except the will to do it.
we had this law, bylaw, or whatever you want to call it, the town law, that you couldn't have multiple dwellings in this town.
That's right.
So that kind of put the kibosh on somebody building a 6 or 8 unit.
It was snob zoning,
Oh, snob zoning. That's exactly right.
which is why we also have 3/4 and larger house lots
Yep.
in town. Well, in some areas of town you got to have it because there's a lot of ledge.
Yep.
But Norfolk grew, and it looks like a beautiful community. Open lands, beautiful homes. But I don't think we're taking care of the elderly quite the way we should.
No, we
And I
have,
think it's something that needs to be addressed.
this town has for a long time had other priorities.
Yeah.
Right or wrong. You couldn't put up a sign. You couldn't. Remember the Dunkin' Donut war, for Christ's sake.
Oh, yeah.
Christ, we fought for years. Can't have a Dunkin' Donuts in town. Well, the town's going to go right down the tubes if you put something like a Dunkin' Donuts in here.
And a fluorescent light?
Oh, my God.
Have just a painted sign.
And it has to be
you
a
can-
colonial-looking sign,
Yeah, yeah. Ay. Well, your friends and mine in San Francisco, California, have once again shown the way for the rest of the country.
too. Hey, be careful. I got relatives out there.
Well,
No,
I hope they're
north of
involved
there, yeah.
in this, because in San Francisco, they are not going to call criminals
Yep.
or addicts by that name.
Nope. Oh, no. You
They
can't.
are going to be justice-involved people.
Yep. Oh, we've gone crazy. We have absolutely gone crazy on this stuff.
Man alive. Now, Dwayne, I found this hard to believe, but then again,
No.
I have looked at Norfolk and Walpole, Westwood, Wellesley, and I'm saying to myself, yeah, hey, this is probably true. The U.S. spends more money on average at restaurants than at grocery stores.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And one of the real factors here are the hot bars.
Mm-hmm.
People run in there and get that styrofoam box and fill it up with supper and bring it home. And if they got to fire it into the microwave to heat it back up again, that's supper.
Just the two of us retired. I right now we probably spend more on a given week than we do at the in a restaurant than we do in a grocery store.
Yeah, I think we do too. Yeah.
Because usually on the weekends we go out and we spend $50 here, $60 there, and during the week, we don't spend that much on groceries because there's just two of us. We don't cook elaborate meals anymore.
Do you know? Susie said to me, "Do you want anything at the grocery store?"
That's where she's going today.
I said, "Yeah. No more. I don't have any lunch meat."
That's what I ordered too.
And she said, "What do you want?" I said, "Bologna."
God, what the hell? I said the same thing. She says, "I know you want some bologna." She says, "I know, boar's head, low sodium."
So she comes back. Here's your bologna, 8 slices. She says, "If I buy you more than 8 slices, 2 or 3 of them are going to get thrown out because you don't eat them fast
That's the
enough."
problem with our house too. You look in the refrigerator. You say, "Why do we have green cheese? What kind of cheese is that?"
Well aged.
Yeah, we buy we do it. It's a terrible shame, but we are guilty of overbuying stuff and buying stuff and forget it and move on to something else.
And the bride points out to me from time to time, listen, you said you wanted chili.
Yep.
All right, there's a bowl of it in there.
Yeah, that's right.
Take it and heat it up for your lunch. Because she doesn't like throwing food away.
I don't either.
No, it's waste.
Yeah.
But Chipotle, the Mexican
Yep, the
restaurant,
Yep.
their stock is up 90% this year.
Yeah. Well, they took such a hit before from their unsafe food
Yes.
practices.
And they've rebounded because their food is loved by people.
Oh, yeah.
And they do a huge to-go business. Shake Shack, which we don't have around here.
We don't have a lot of
their
these
stock
people.
is up 50%. McDonald's has been strong all year.
Yep.
And when their dividend is raised, the stock goes up the equivalent amount every year. They're at 220 now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They do things right.
Yeah, they do. They know how to
really do.
run a
Yep.
business. Walmart is up 19 straight quarters. Our retail business is doing fantastically in this country. Now, the malls have a problem.
Yes, they do. So do some of the elite areas, like Fifth Avenue in New York has
Yeah.
a problem. With some of the big name stores are
That's
are closing.
exactly right.
And that's because of the real estate prices, basically. Their rent prices have gotten so high they can't make the end of it.
But people like to shop.
Yep.
Do you know that only 11% of retail is done on the internet?
Yeah, probably.
Now, I saw another survey that said it was 15%. But
But, yeah.
the retail outlets are alive and well. Yesterday, Target stock went right through the bloody roof, and so didn't Lowe's. Home Depot. The Lowe's did it last week, and Home Depot did it yesterday. Right through the roof. Their sales numbers, their traffic
Yep.
is way up. The U.S. consumer is responsible for like 2/3 of our economy.
Yep.
And the consumer is happy.
Yep.
The consumer is making more money at work. Their investments are paying off.
Yeah.
And they have confidence in where we're going. And just see if I can very quickly. Yes, I found it. Fidelity, the big mutual fund house, investment house, gave out some numbers. They have, in all the 401ks that they have, that they administer,
Yep.
196,000 of them are millionaires now.
Yep.
The IRAs that they administer,
Yep.
179,000 of them are millionaires. Now, for you young people, and the young people, by the way, love our show.
Oh, absolutely. They're just
I see it all the time when I visit them. For you young people that watch the show, mutual funds, selective stock buying, and leave it alone and watch the power of compound interest.
Yep.
Is that anything like a compound fracture, Mr. Crane? That's what somebody said to me one day. So I fractured him. I gave him a good
You showed
one.
them what compound fracture is.
But, and another, now this one is, well, I don't know how they figured this out, okay? They say that 13% on average is being invested annually by people. Now, I don't know what that 13% means,
Yeah, I don't either.
but I know Patrick invests to the max on the percentage, and I think it may be 13%, that he has taken out for his 401k, and I think Peter does too.
I did that for years.
Yeah, I did too.
Particularly when they had the matching
Oh,
programs.
yeah. Listen, when someone says have 4% taken out for a 401k and we'll put 4% in along with your 4%.
You're a fool not to do it.
I mean, you're a damn fool not to do it, is right. And yet,
But yet there was people in the companies that were involved that I was working for. They wouldn't. I'm not doing that.
I had a couple of guys working for me
Yep.
that refused when the Foxborough Company back in 1977 or so came out with 401ks and investment plans. They refused to join up. And I remember talking to one of them, my friend Link. And I said, Link, you're one of the cheapest men in the world. But you know what? Invest 4% and get 4% back. They put it right in there with your 4%.
You doubled it right off the
And
bat.
you know what he said to me? He was
I can imagine. I've heard
he
this.
was really peed off. Very condescending. You listen to me, sonny boy.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
There's no such thing as a free lunch, and you'll be sorry you did this.
Yep.
I never, ever have forgotten that.
If he had any money, it's in his mattress.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you're going to love this. All right, you and Monica got to sit down and figure out how you're going to do this. The new temperature recommendations from one of the bureaus of our great federal government.
I think I saw this last night.
When you're cooling, when you go to your house and you've had your air conditioner off and you need to cool the house down, 78 is the lowest you should put your thermostat at.
Yep.
Sleeping, 82.
Yeah.
Normal living, 85. Do you know anybody that does that?
We don't have air conditioning.
Oh, yeah, me too.
We got a couple of window units that I don't use anymore. I got the new windows.
Yep.
Got that big ridge on them, but I don't mind. I get along with it. At night we open the windows up, let the house cool down. In the morning, shut them up again.
Yep.
And they stay nice. I'm perfectly comfortable at 85 degrees.
Yeah. And it's not costing you anything.
No, once in a while, if it's real warm, we'll put a fan on in the room. We got some overhead fans downstairs.
Yeah,
Overheads.
it moves things around, and it gives you the feeling of being cooler when you're actually, the temperature being cooler when it's really not, but you're moving the dead air
Now,
around.
where I grew up, temperatures were extreme. Winters were cold. I mean, 15, 20 below zero for weeks at a time. But you think, well, so summers must be nice. Like hell, summers are like 100 degrees, 89,
The
95.
Midwest, the center of our country has got extremes.
Extremes, both ends.
Yeah.
And it would be high humidity and brutal temperatures in the
I mean,
summertime.
you look at North Dakota, right?
When we were young, you never saw air conditioning except maybe a movie theater or a store.
Yeah, right.
You still don't in Europe. Much of Europe is not air
Well, let me
conditioned.
tell you, I went to Sweden a couple of times where for the company I worked for, there's no air conditioning over
Germany
there.
has
None.
3% or something are air conditioned.
And they got a very unique way of, and I don't even know how to describe it. It's a sliding panel that slides, and it exposes direct holes to the outside.
Okay, sure.
And you can set it so that it's halfway open or a quarter of the way open. But at night, all right, during the daytime, where I was, about 150 or 200 miles north of Stockholm, all right, a warm day was be in the high 60s.
Right.
And at night, it would go down into the low 50s or 40s. So you just open that thing up. Now it's all you need. But the winters up there are something else again.
You're not kidding.
I I'll get a couple of other statistics here for you. We talk a lot about the union workers and their influence.
Yeah.
10.5% of the
It's
workforce
very
is union.
very lopsided.
It is.
It's we give them such great influence or voice that they,
Well, especially in politics.
oh yeah, they just cater to them, just like, oh, the union vote. The union vote's what, 10-12% of the labor force today?
10.5%.
Yeah, it's minuscule.
Yeah, it is. Now, you got hotbeds of union activity: Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island. But around the country, no way.
No.
They're right to work laws every place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, 5.
Now, here's a very bad statistic. 40% of the children born in the U.S. are born to unwed mothers.
Unfortunately, I think that's easily 40% today.
This is very sad.
And when I say unfortunate, I'm not talking morality or religious or anything like that. You know, if you have a baby out of wedlock, you have a baby out of wedlock. I don't care. But what I do care, and Bill will agree on this, is that kids need 2 parents. They need a father and a mother. They're both influence that kid for development, maturity, and sets him on a right path for life.
Yep.
The fact that you have 3 kids and was never married, don't have any man in the house.
Well, 3 different fathers, too.
Probably 3 different fathers.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But the fact that I don't need a man, that's not right. That's not right for the kids, and it's not right for society.
Listen, I'm going to be the first to tell you that God forbid anything would have happened in my family because I couldn't handle bringing up 3 kids by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I
had trouble too.
So, I mean, the housewife, the mother, has so many challenges, but when you pair them together, and I'm going to go off the radical deep end, as God planned, a mother and a father, it is the best solution. So there. Now, Joe Biden had a couple of good ones here recently. We choose truth over facts. How about that?
Deja vu all over again.
Poor children are just as bright as white kids.
Yeah, some of the state, they just don't connect. You know? That's what makes it interesting. You know, politics used to be. If there was anything political on TV, I wouldn't have watched it. Now I'll watch just to see what the greatest rhubarb is and the hoopla going. Yeah.
The average U.S. worker earns 30% more than his German equivalent.
Yep.
And you know, the European Union is an endangered species. Mm-hmm. Now, it may be 10 or 20 years before it collapses, but it was this great socialistic experiment, and it's failing by leaps and by bounds. They have negative interest rates over there. If you give the bank $1,000, you get $999 back after 5 years. That's great.
I think the problem there is that, again, it's just my talking, but it started out as a great concept with a great group, but then they started bringing in the peripherals.
Sure.
That started draining the original function off.
There was that, and also nationalism.
Nationalism, yeah.
They underestimated. You cannot make a homogeneous group out of the French, the Germans, the Swedes,
They all got their own
And then the folks down in the Balkans are,
another agenda.
that's another agenda at all. Theodore Roosevelt said something, knowing what's right doesn't mean much unless you do what's right.
That's true.
Yep, absolutely.
I used to clip those out and send them to my salesman when I was a sales manager. And one of them clipped one out, sent back to me. Poor planning on your part does not constitute panic on mine.
I know it. That's a good one. An emergency on mine, yeah. What's the average cost of a funeral in the U.S.?
I gotta say $9,000 or $10,000.
$8,000.
Yeah. I've just about what we spent on my mother's funeral, and we kept it, down. It's amazing you get how the hustle you get with a funeral. Funeral directors are just like some kind of used car salesman out there.
You're absolutely right. 85% of apparel is bought in stores.
Well, I agree there because I'm very reluctant to buy anything online because I don't fit well.
I want to pick it up. I want to feel it.
I want to see how big it is.
I want to take it over and see it in the sunlight.
I got little bitty legs and a long torso, and usually I buy one and it comes to here. The pants are dragging on the floor.
It's never easy.
Nah.
Folks, we've come to the end of this extremely good show. One that'll be buttoned up and sent to the Library of Congress shortly after we speak. However, that is the good news, or the bad news. The good news is we'll be back again real soon. Couple of weeks.
That might be the bad news. We're not sure yet.
We're not sure yet. But one way or t'other, we'll be back at you. So listen, struggle through the rest of summer, and we'll see you after Labor Day.
Remember, you won't melt at 85 or 82 degrees.
That's it, exactly.
Take care.
Take care.